hook, line, and sinker again, man. Kyle Tucker, right? It was Juan Soto and it was Ohtani. Now it's Tucker that's coming up here, and it's a lock. Do you see that happening or what?
So here's the thing: if it's Tucker, then it's not Bichette.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the one thing that is clear is that Kyle Tucker is probably going to get the biggest free agent contract in the marketplace this hot stove season. So there's been speculation it could get as high as $400 million. Do the Blue Jays really want to have a $500 million investment and a $400 million investment into players? Bichette will be much less than that. The other thing about it is put Tucker in right field. It moves Santander to left, Springer DHs, and it means that Barger becomes your everyday third baseman. Clement goes to second. It's a lot of moving pieces. Now, I personally prefer Barger in the outfield than I do at third. I like him at third, but I don't love him at third. I love Clement at third with his defense there. I would rather have Bichette at second and go with the same outfield configuration that you had, and Barger in right and Santander in left and Varsho in center. The idea of Tucker would bring another left-handed bat in, so you'd be able to go Springer, Tucker, Vlad, Barger. You'd be able to go left, right, and have balance throughout the lineup. They've got enough balance for me. I think Barger and Varsho and Santander as a switch hitter should give them enough balance of left, right to be able to get through. It did this year. So I keep hearing Tucker. I don't see them as the biggest player on Tucker. And then balancing the timing of all that's going to be interesting too. So I keep hearing that. I'm not sure I buy that Tucker is plan A over Bichette being plan A.
So, Steve, you mentioned Bichette, and you talked about him coming in lower. We were talking yesterday, what do you think a fair contract for him is, either term or the actual financial amount?
Yeah, right. So the years are going to be the challenge. And that's where, as an agent, you really make your money not on how much per year, the extra money. You make it on how many years you can get somebody to commit to. And, I think that health is a question. Bichette's knees on the turf is a question. And it's a legitimate question to have to consider. And if the doctors sign off that the knee's going to be okay, and certainly the injury wasn't turf related in any way, it was a slide at home plate, then I wouldn't be shocked if he gets an 8 to 10 year contract. We saw Dansby Swanson as a shortstop get a 7-year deal at about $187 million. We saw Willie Adames get a 7-year contract. And Bichette's, in the age range, even a little bit younger than them. So I could see an 8 to 10 year deal for him. And I think you're looking at a number starting with a $200+ million for him when it's all said and done. But it's not $400 million in Kyle Tucker. And it's a guy, it's a guy who likes the team, that fits in with the team. Tucker is, he's not the most dynamic personality. I like Bichette on this team. I like his energy on the team. I like his swag on this team. Tucker, when things don't go right, Tucker sometimes disappears internally. He just sort of, he loses, he gets quiet, he sort of keeps to himself. I don't want that. This team needs energy. It needs connection. And so I'd prefer Bichette to Tucker. And I think there are a lot of teams in on Tucker. And I think that for Bichette, the Tigers, one of the breaks for the Blue Jays is Detroit. Gleyber Torres taking the qualifying offer for $22 million kind of gets in the way of Bichette a little bit. I guess they could sign him to play third, but they've got the young kid, Colt Keith, there to play third base, and they've got some McKinstry and others that can do it. And I think Atlanta, they need a shortstop, but Alex Anthopoulos in Atlanta has not been the big spender. He's not spent the most money in free agency. They've not done it at all since he's been there. So I don't know that he's completely in. I think they'd rather have Ha-Seong Kim at a lesser price point. So the Red Sox, if they don't get Bregman, but I think they might get Bregman. So I don't know. I think the Bichette market, I think the Jays can stay in it and compete, but you'll lose Tucker if you wait for Bichette.
What about losing them both, Steve? I'm sure Bo Bichette's not exactly jacked up hearing these Tucker rumors, and you see Naylor going to the Mariners right away, and he's probably thinking, why isn't the same thing happening with myself? Is there a chance the Jays get screwed here and they end up with nothing, just the way these things play out?
Yeah, it's possible. I think that I mean Bregman was a guy that could be an answer at third base as well. I mean, the one good thing about the Jays, they could add a second baseman and it works because you could move the pieces around. And Jimenez can play shortstop, and you can add the second baseman. They could add the shortstop and Bichette and move everybody around and leave them at short for now if they want to. If that's a big deal to them, you can make the deal for a few years and do it. Atlanta has shortstop available for a couple of years to Ozzie Albies moves. If the Jays need to sign a third baseman, okay, Clement goes over to second base. It works. If they can sign an outfielder, it works. So they can pivot in a lot of different ways. It could end up being Eugenio Suarez if they don't get any of the guys they want. Eugenio Suarez hit 48, 49 home runs last year. He's streaky, but he's got legit power. And so there's a place to really keep this team very strong, even if they don't get Tucker or Bichette.